on his elbow because the Contraband Days tennis tournament is just around the corner. It's been a highlight of Contraband Days for years now, and it kicks off this Friday at the Lake Charles Racket Club. Brian Kirby, chairman of the tournament committee, and Alfredo Truyanqui, the tennis pro from the Racket Club, are with us today. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you.
Alfredo, there are many different divisions that people can participate in, right?
Yeah, we have like they call the pros division, which is the open, and include college players and pros that travel around the United States or around the world playing that division. And we have a second division we just started a couple of years ago. It's called the 4.5 national rating, which is for average players, might as well club players. And then we go to a different division, which is age divisions, 35, 45, 55, 65. So it's for everybody who wants to play tennis.
That's great. So we've got something for everyone, right, Brian?
Correct. What we want to emphasize is that this is for all tennis players, all area tennis players, anyone in Southwest Louisiana who is a tennis enthusiast. Please join us. We have a great weekend of tennis for everyone.
Okay, now it starts off Friday, but it goes Saturday and also Sunday.
Right. We had Friday, we started with the celebrity matches at noon, and then after 5 o'clock in the afternoon, we kick the tournament. And it goes all the way till Sunday, till we finish.
That's great. Going to play a lot of tennis out there. How do you enter? Where do you go?
We have entry blanks at all area First National Bank offices. You may contact the Lake Charles Racket Club by phone or go by. The Racket Club is located off Lake Street, Bayou Pines, behind Shayoka. Be glad to help you answer any questions. Anyone that is interested in playing in the tournament, please call us.
Is it very expensive participating?
It's $18 for singles, $20 per doubles team.
It's not bad
which
at all.
is very reasonable.
What are the prizes like?
We have a lot of prizes.
Tell us about it.
The prizes are, well, the money prizes goes to the open divisions. Because right now, we went up from last year. First place is $1,200. And the second place goes $600, and the semifinals $275 each. So if you get lucky, you make a lot of money that weekend.
That's right. Have fun, play tennis, and make some money at the same time. Now, we also want to invite people, perhaps, who you may not play tennis, but you enjoy watching the game.
Correct. One of our goals is to get all area enthusiasts out. If you're not interested in playing, please come out and watch. This is some of the best tennis you will ever see. We have world-class players each year coming in to play this tournament. You don't have to go to Houston or New Orleans or anywhere else to watch world-class tennis players. They are right here in the Lake Charles area. If you have not seen good tennis live before, this is your chance. And it's free. You can come out to the Lake Charles Racket Club absolutely free and watch some of the best tennis you will ever see.
Now, I know we have a lot of good tennis players right here in Southwest Louisiana, but as you said, we do draw people from other parts of the country as well.
We have, as a matter of fact, right now we have Australian players coming up here. One of the Australian players, which is probably be a #1 seed of the tournament, his name is Peter Duhan, and he's the one beat Boris Becker 3 years ago at Wimbledon.
Whoa!
So everybody, we're getting pretty excited
huh?
about watching him playing tennis. And also we have the last year's runner-up, Pat Surratt. He's also from Australia, and he's his doubles partner. They used to play in Arkansas. And we have a third Australian, which is an ex-LSU player, is #1 from LSU. He's also playing this weekend. We have Donnie Leocraft, who is playing professional right now, and last year he played at the Open, and he lost in the first round, the #10 seed in 4 sets. So we're talking some great players. The guys you see on TV, you're going to see at Lake Charles Racket Club.
That is great. Give us a quick rundown on the times of the different competitions, just a few of them, starting off.
Okay, well, the open division usually starts off on Friday. If we have enough entries, we need to start that on Friday. Most of the other divisions start on Saturday morning at 9 o'clock. And they run right on through till we finish, depending on the rain delays, whatever. If we were unfortunate enough to have any, we may have finals right on through Sunday afternoon.
And it's not too late to get your entries in.
Absolutely not.
The deadline is till Wednesday, which is, I think, Wednesday the 1st at 12 noon.
Okay.
Because the draw will be ready the next day, so you can call anytime.
Alfredo, Brian, thank you both for being with us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, more heavy rains and powerful winds whipped through Louisiana again yesterday, but the National Weather Service reports that
is up next. Mike takes you through the majors and gets you caught up on all the NBA stuff. Coming up next.
USDA Choice Boneless Beef Shoulder Texas Broil Family Pack, $1.49 a pound. Heinz Ketchup, 28-ounce squeeze bottle, 88 cents. Limit one with $10 additional purchase. And Kroger guarantees low prices with triple the difference.
Do you know the difference in eye care? Some people say,
I'll just go where they're the cheapest. It's only a pair of glasses.
no, it's your only pair of eyes. And others say,
go to the surgeon that operated on Grandma's cataracts.
that can be expensive and time-consuming. 20/20 Vision Clinic has doctors, optometrists who will test your eyes to see the very best they can and do a complete health examination. We're serious about your eyes and your eyewear, and your time and your convenience is important to us. See our Yellow Page ad and call 20/20 Vision Clinic.
Cellular One mobile telephones keep you in touch, on the move. Can you really afford to be without Cellular One?
Congratulations to all of you 91 graduates from Billy Navarre. As you look for that new car or truck for graduation, for our low volume price, shop your #1 volume dealer, Billy Navarre, with new Hyundai XLs for $59.95, S10s for $63.95, Hyundai Scoops for $89.90, plus low mileage factory cars and over 120 used cars and trucks. Even if you live 100 miles away, compare the competition's price to our volume price and save at Billy Navarre Chevrolet in Sulphur or Lake Charles.
Well, we're on congratulations. Well, they go out to the Lady Gator track team, who took a trip to Baton Rouge last night and returned home with the state's Quad A girls track title. First place finishes by Charlotte Green in the 400 meters, and top performances by both the 800 and 1600 meter relay teams secured the Lady Gators 2-point win over Walker. Other top performances, see, Lisa, you're not involved in this. Washington Marion, they placed second to Eunice for the boys' AAA state title. Eddie Kinnison won the 200 meters and helped the Charging Indians take the 1600 meter relay. Brock Seamall, Sam Houston, and Jay Powers of Westlake finished 1-2 in the javelin. Another second place finish, this one to the Lady Cougars of Lake Charles, Boston in the girls' AAA division. Hawana Jones took top honors in the 100 meter hurdles. Natasha Barber won the meet's triple jump competition. Rubber game in Houston between the Astros and St. Louis Cardinals. Astros, Jim Deshaies, well, he was looking to get in the win column for the first time this season. He entered the game 0-4, and Jim. Looks like Jim Deshaies will drop to 0-5 of the year, as St. Louis had a 5-run 8th inning. Deshaies would drop to 0-5, would be his worst start ever. The Stros, if they lose, well, they'll be 5 games under 500 at 12-17 the game right now as you see it. The Redbirds over the Stros, 7-3 in the bottom of the 8th. Let's take you through the scoreboard. Atlanta still in first place in the West, 6-1 over the Bucks. Cincinnati by a deuce over the Cubs. Philadelphia, 5-run first, 7-3 winners over the Dodgers. Montreal by 2 over San Diego, 8-6. And in 11 innings, the Giants continue to struggle. The New York Mets, 4-2 winners in Candlestick to the American League. Texas in a bomb fest, 12-5 over the Bo Sox. Toronto by a deuce over the Chicago White Sox. The Tribe, they keep winning, 4-1 over the California Angels. Detroit, the Tigers lose to Minnesota, 8-3 in the Homer Dome. The Yankees, they win one, 10-6 over the Oakland A's. Kansas City by 2, 6-4 over the Brewers, and 5-4 the final in Seattle as the Mariners get by the Baltimore Orioles. To the NBA playoffs, where 3 teams had a chance to take commanding 3-1 leads in their best-of-7 second-round series on Sunday. All of them on the road. Let's go to Philly and the Spectrum. The Bulls take game 4 as Horace Grant had a big afternoon, 22 points and 11 boards. And then there's, Michael doing what only he can do. Chicago 101-85 over the Sixers. Sir Charles and company, 1 game from elimination.
We came out with the win. We accomplished what we wanted to do, and that was to win 1 or 2 here. Now we'll go back home and try to finish it out.
In Oakland, game 4 between the Lakers and Golden State Warriors, and this State fan needs to get a clue. Jack knows his Lakers were looking sweep in Oakland, and they did. Watch Sam Perkins, game high 27, including, yes, a baseline jam. LA leads 3-1. with a 123-107 win in Game 4.
We came up here and we did what we wanted to do. We took 2 games. Now Tuesday night is a game that we feel we must win. You know, if we want to advance, we have to close it out as soon as possible.
And in the other team with a chance to take a 3-1 lead was the Portland Trail Blazers. The Blazers did it as they went to the Salt Palace and they beat Utah 104-101. There you see it. Portland leads this series 3-1 as well. So 3 teams did it today. Boston and Detroit get at it tomorrow, and Boston wins and they go up 3-1 too.
You mean it's going to be over soon, the playoffs?
Might be over too. What would I do without Jam for a little while?
I don't know. You'll think of something
I got
else.
the NBA championships, don't worry.
Okay. Thanks, Mike. When we come back, Alan sets us straight on the back-to-work wake-up weather and a little double vision on this Mother's Day.
If you've ever owned one, you know KitchenAid dishwashers are unsurpassed for quality. Now that same KitchenAid quality is yours in a full line of home appliances. Durable, long-lasting, and well-featured refrigerators, washers, and dryers. Quality, uniqueness, and variety are evident in KitchenAid cooking equipment. It's built the old-fashioned way. And we offer genuine factory parts and service no matter where you bought it. The complete line of KitchenAid home appliances is available exclusively at Chick LeBlanc Appliances, where we would appreciate your business.
Today, Sarah Purcell is going to show us how fast it is to use the real Yellow Pages by competing against a speeding train.
Okay, Sarah, find us a good old French restaurant nearby before the 12:15 arrives. Ooh, looks like he's early. Better hurry.
Here's one, only 2 miles away.
Oh, goody.
Thank you, Fred. Nothing saves you time like the real Yellow Pages. It's here or nowhere.
Think of waking up with energy, standing tall and feeling free. Think Oak Park Chiropractic. Good health is to enjoy. When you're down and need relief, we get you right back on your feet. Taking good care of yourself. Think of us for better health. Oak Park Chiropractic. Good health is to enjoy.
If you're looking for a truck that can serve you 2 ways, save you money, and offer an unbelievable interest rate, you'd better head for Martin GMC. We're talking about the 2- and 4-door S15 Jimmy, a family or recreational vehicle with a $1,000 rebate and 1.9% financing. That's right, you get a $1,000 rebate and 1.9% financing with the purchase of a 2- or 4-door S15 Jimmy. It's a red-hot offer, and it's at Martin GMC, Highway 90 East, next to I-210.
More warm weather to look forward to in the morning?
All week long, but tomorrow morning will be a great start for a great week with a fair sky and temperatures in the lower 70s.
Thank you, Alan. Finally, in our nightcap, a Mother's Day story. For those who thought they were seeing double at this afternoon's Contraband Days Festival, well, that was the idea. 23 sets of look-alike moms and daughters entered KPLC's Spit and Image contest. Well, the competition was stiff, but in the end, it was Hope and Mindy Queenan of Lake Charles who took first prize, and they should be coming up. There they are. Lindsay and Nicole Lewis of Jennings also bear a striking resemblance. They came in second, and Pamela and Daniela Taylor of Lake Charles were third. Congratulations to all the winners, and thanks so much for watching 7 News Nightcast. Stay tuned for a wrap-up of all the Contraband Days events coming up next.
Good evening, I'm Paul Murphy.
And I'm Jana Gray.
Jean Lafitte and his band of merry buccaneers are circling around in the waters behind us, getting ready to depart for another year.
During their 2-week raid on the city, Contraband Days 1991 flourished, providing us with plenty of entertainment, music, and all the unique events we've grown accustomed to over the years.
Well, Jana, the weather held up, the people turned out, and here's some of what made Contraband Days so special this year. As always, it began with a bang. The Lake Charles militia put up another brave fight this year, but the pirate prince Jean Lafitte prevailed. he and his band of merry buccaneers vowed they'd be back. And as promised, Lafitte claimed the city for 2 weeks of partying, fun, and festivities.
Citizens of Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana, the northern Gulf of Mexico, the Buccaneers are here. We need to see a representative of the local government immediately. Walk the plank! Walk the plank! Walk the plank!
With that, Contraband Days 1991 was officially opened. There appears to be a little pirate in all of us, and Contraband Days is a good time to let it all hang out. Thousands of local residents, their guests, and tourists join the Buccaneer fleet in making this year one of the best ever. The Contraband Days parade has become a tradition every May, and this year, the more than 100 entries excited crowds up and down the parade route as the show on wheels passed through the streets of Lake Charles. The parade fun was not bound by land. Several boat parades passed by the banks of Lake Charles, much to the delight of festival goers, old and young.
What are you doing out here?
Watching the boats throwing me some candy.
The boats are throwing you candy? Have you been catching a lot?
Contraband Days sports keeps expanding each year. Professional power boats sped across the lake at speeds in excess of 100 miles per hour. This is one of the original Contraband events, thrilling spectators since 1958. The powerboat races gave way to the Contraband Ski Club. Show for America was the theme of this year's performance. And there was plenty of sports off the water as well. This year's Contraband Days tennis tournament featured $5,000 in total prize money. The event was won by Pat Surratt. That's it. The Coeur Lafitte drew hundreds of riders during the first weekend of Contraband Days. This was the first year for the race, and organizers are hoping to make it a permanent fixture during the festival in years to come. This just goes to show you, Contraband Days is not just fun and games. It also means food. In addition to the food booths along Bordelak Drive, Lafitte's Fest O' Food provided festival goers with some of the best eats in town. This year, Contraband Days 1991 was dedicated to the soldiers of Operation Desert Storm. A special tribute was held in their honor, and throughout the two-week festival, the red, white, and blue was proudly displayed, recognizing the accomplishments of the fighting men and women from Southwest Louisiana. And that's just some of the events highlighting Contraband Days this year.
Paul, you mean those are some of the more standard events. You know, each year Contraband Days is like a magnet for crazy competitions of every type, hype, and sight imaginable. Let's take a look at some of those events now, which have come to be known as uniquely Contraband. You take 4 people in nightgowns, a bed on wheels, and a crowd of screaming spectators, and what do you get? The Contraband Days bed pushing races, of course. This is the 13th year for the event, and as you can see, the nightwear and beds keep getting racier each year. Speaking of races, the annual Diaper Derby featured some of the lake area's most talented tots. These contestants look like they'll be enjoying Contraband Days well into the next century.
Ready, mark, get set, go!
From baby races to crawfish races, They tell me these mud bugs have been in training all year just to participate in this Contraband Days event. And to the winner goes the spoils. Well, sort of. You see, in this race, the winner gets eaten. Bon appetit.
The guy with no shirt on is doing it too.
For the true contraband sportsman and woman, the messier the better. The egg drop requires a unique blend of talent, hand-eye coordination, and guts.
Here it comes. Kiwanis in second. Big brothers, big sisters in third.
This next event proves you can do more with a phone book than just read it. The objective of the CDI telephone book games is to transport a book any way you can, without using your hands. The annual Contraband Days Show Your Tan contest is another festival favorite. No explanation needed here. And finally, here is an event to be enjoyed by mother and daughter. It's called the Spitting Image Contest. The prizes go to the pair with the best family resemblance. Congratulations go to Hope and Mitch. And of course, we should say, Paul, the Spitting Image Contest is, of course, inspired by Mother's Day. To all you moms out there, we hope someone made this a special Mother's Day for you.
And Jana, you know, in just a few minutes, we're going to show them our favorite feature, Contraband After Dark. But first, let's take a sample of some of the entertainment highlighting the festival this year.
Got some music, you got to walk straight. No need to mutate. Mutate. No need to if you're walking straight. Got to walk straight. Walk straight. Breathe straight. Sing straight. Dance straight. Sing straight.
Love those steel drums. Now we've come to my favorite part of the show.
You know, when the sun goes down over Contraband Days, all the crazies come out to play. It's a party befitting Jean Lafitte and his Buccaneers. Whether you're into music, dancing, or just hanging out, during Contraband Days After Dark, the Civic Center seawall is the place to be. It's spontaneous fun. You never know what may happen when you're under the spell of Jean Lafitte and his crew. With party barges and pleasure boats lining the seawall at night, you're never far from a party or friends looking to pass a good time.
I'm from St. Martinville, Louisiana, next to Bro Bridge. Last week, I left the Crawfish Festival to come to the Contraband. That's how wonderful it is. This is my second year in a row, and I'll never miss it.
Fun, 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 till my daddy took the T-bird away.
Whoa! Oh, my God. How about you? Contraband After Dark.
It's wonderful. Fun. Better than Mardi Gras. Better than Mardi Gras.
The smell of barbecue fills the air, and some of the food being cooked up is pretty darn good. The fun continues well into the night. The only problem is Contraband Days only comes around once a year.
we've certainly had a good time out here at Contraband Days 1991. As Jean Lafitte leaves for parts unknown, he vows to come back next year with more fun for all.
Until then, I'm Paul Murphy.
And I'm Jana Gray.
Good night, everybody. As we leave you, here are some parting shots from last night's fireworks extravaganza.
The 1991 Contraband Days Men's Tennis Tournament. 7-8-year service KPLC brings you the 1991 Contraband Days Men's Finals, sponsored by First National Bank of Lake Charles. Today's top seed, Peter Duhan of Little Rock, Arkansas, takes on number 2, Patrick Surratt of Alexandria, Louisiana. Now here's your host, Tom Woodard.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Lake Charles Racket Club, the site of the Contraband Days Tennis Tournament. Today we'll be bringing you the men's final. I'm Tom Woodard along with Mike McNulty. And Mike, a classic matchup. When they draw up the tournament and they pick out the seeds, this is how it's supposed to be. Number 1 against number 2.
Tom, you're absolutely right. Based on past performance, I figured these would be the two people who are here. And here they are. And I think we're in store for an excellent match. As a matter of fact, everyone I've talked to, including the pros, says this will be the best match that we've ever had at the Lake Charles Racket Club.
Number 1 against number 2. The number 1 seed, Peter Duhan of Little Rock, Arkansas. He's a native of Australia, taking on a good friend of his, the number 2 seed, Pat Surratt. He was here last year. The guys know a lot about each other, so it should be a very close match.
I think so. I talked with both of the players before. They know each other's games. I asked one of the players, what are you going to do differently? And he says, well, I don't know anything else I can do differently. They've played twice already. They've played the last 2 times they've played, they've split. So they're fairly evenly matched, and this is kind of the rubber match, so it should be a close one.
Should be a real great match. Once again, the number 1 seed, Peter Duhan, taking on the number 2 seed, Pat Surratt. A great, great match. Stay tuned. Don't miss any of it. We'll be back with you in just a few minutes.
There are many powerful families in Louisiana, yet there's one few people even know exists. Its influence extends from boardrooms in big cities to small-town general stores. From shrimp boats on the Gulf through the heart of the bayou to the oil fields of the West. Generations have turned to members of this family for a helping hand. Through good times and bad, we're First National Bank, and we're part of that family. The strongest family of banks in Louisiana.
And welcome back to the Lake Charles Racket Club, the site of the Contraband Days Tennis Tournament. We're bringing to you the men's finals. Number 2 seed, Pat Surratt, taking on the number 1 seed, Peter Duhan. Both of these gentlemen, once again, native of Australia, but Pat Surratt lives in Alexandria, and Peter Duhan lives in Little Rock, Arkansas. So they're a little far away from home, Mike.
Yeah, but this is a close drive for them. As a matter of fact, before the match, in talking with both the players, they were saying how much they were looking forward to coming to Lake Charles and playing the tournament. There's pretty good prize money here, and for the prize money involved, they're willing to make that short trek.
Oh yeah, real great purse, $6,000. First place, $1,700. Second place, $900. To set it up for you, in the near court is the number 2 seed, Pat Surratt, 30 years old, tennis pro in Alexandria at the Courtyard Health and Racket Club. He is in the near court. You can't see him right now. He's off camera. There he is, Pat Surratt. And in the far court is the number 1 seed, Peter Duhan. He lives in Little Rock, Arkansas. He's looking into some job opportunities there at a couple of clubs there. And, you know, we might see more of this this gentleman in the near future, getting a little bit closer than Australia, so he might play in this Contraband Days tournament in the next couple of years.
Well, Pete Duhan, the spelling of his last name is D-U-H-O-N, and we went back and forth, you and I, before the match, how to pronounce it, whether it's Duhan, and if he was from southwest Louisiana, you know it'd be Duhan, but it is pronounced Duhan. I don't know if he has any roots around this area, but if he does, they've changed the pronunciation.
In Louisiana, you hear a lot of sha and stuff like this. I think you're going to hear a good day and mate a lot this afternoon on the tennis court. Looks like the #1 seed, Peter Doohan, is going to serve first. Once again, he is in the far court in the white hat. The #1 seed, he'll be serving first. Pat Surratt in the near court. And the first point of this men's championship match goes to the #1 seed, Peter Doohan.
Tom, I think that point gives an indication to the viewers of what Pete's going to do. Pete is a serving volleyer, which means he's not staying on that baseline. As soon as he serves that ball, he's coming up to the net to try and put those points away like that and force Pat to try and pass him. And he's successful so far, first
So
2
far,
points.
30 love. Pat Surratt, as you remember, he played in the finals last year of the Contraband Days tennis tournament, but was defeated. Hopefully he's going to turn things around this year. One thing you notice about Pat Surratt, he wears a brace on his right arm. He tore a tip of a tendon in the same sense. He says it bothers him sometimes, and sometimes it just doesn't bother him at all. He's wearing the brace just for safety protections right now.
Well, on this point, if the viewers will look at Pat's service return and his shots, you'll see just how much topspin he puts on his return. Unlike most club players who hits the ball pretty flat, he really comes over the ball and puts a lot of pressure on that arm. And I don't know if it was caused by that, but it certainly puts a lot of pressure on it.
Yeah, just taking that spin and using all the muscles in that arm.
That's right.
Takes its toll on it.
That was a second serve by Pete, and he got away with it. The first 2 services were first serves, and if he can get a high percentage of first serves, he should be successful. Another first serve.
And there's the first game of this match. Peter Doohan takes the first game. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back with the men's final, Contraband Days tennis tournament. Don't go anywhere. We're not exactly sure what happened on that shot. I don't know if it was out or not.
I don't know what that was. It looked like a good serve, but
we're going to the
late call.
Yeah.
Well, that's a change from last year, Tom. Last year, you recall that Pat spent most of the time on the baseline, but he's coming to the net also. So maybe we're going to have 2 serving volleyers today.
Pat Surratt serving the second game. Ooh, nice cross-court try there. A little bit out, and we're tied at 5-all.
The service returns by both players are interesting. You notice they're really not hitting away on those service returns. They're chopping the ball and trying to dip the ball over the net so that they can get another shot. You'll see on that point that Pat tried to hit a cross-court, an angle, and it tipped the top of the net and went wide.
Little deep. I think a ball boy may have caught it the wrong way.
See, that was that little chip again. It's very effective. When you're this talented, you not only do you have the ability to be able to hit out and with a lot of pace, but you can also do that little dip, a finesse shot, and it's just as effective.
Peter Doohan up 30-15, receiving serve. Also, when the server is charging, that little dink shot also catches him off, and that's probably a most effective shot.
That's right, because he's rushing in one direction up to the net, so if it's to the side, it's hard to cut or to break to the side, stop your momentum.
30-all now. Interesting about the #1 and #2 seeds playing. They're not just the #1 and #2 seeds. They've also been roommates all weekend long. They've played so much together, so it's just an interesting match.
Well, the game so far has just been little dinks, feeling each other out right now, and it really hasn't been powerful tennis. I think you're going to see some as the match goes on, but right now they're just kind of feeling each other out. What you said, Tom, was absolutely correct. These players know each other very well. They're both from Australia, and in fact were doubles partners in college, and were the NCAA doubles champions. So they're very good friends and know each other's game very well.
They're so even, they are even right now at deuce.
A little wide.
Doohan is doing a lot of concentrating on the cross-court shots, trying to get him in. I guess, as you said, he's testing the waters right now.
That's right. He's not putting a lot of pace on the ball, just chipping. And that ball just went a little wide. When you chip like that, frequently you'll get another shot. If you hit away on that service return and the server who comes up blocks it, the point is usually over.
Puts it in the net, and we're back at deuce again.
You won't see that very often. That was an easy forehand and right into the bottom of the net.
I know in your games out here at the Racket Club, you probably play a lot of your friends. When does the friendship end and the rivalry begin?
Depends on who you're playing. No, usually if you're good friends, you play a lot, and you're always, you know, competitive. You want to do the best you can. But there's a little difference between being out here and playing competitive tennis among friends and being out here on television and playing for a big purse.
Yeah, it's different between, you know, when you're playing for a Diet Coke and playing for $1,700 in prize.
That's right.
Big difference there.
That's right. Ball boys don't seem to bother you, anything like that, when you're playing out here on a lazy Sunday.
And it looked like Peter Doohan just captured the second game of this first set. So the top seed is not doing bad. You talk about ball boys. I've never had a ball boy when I'm playing playing tennis. That's an experience. I know I played in that celebrity tennis match, and we didn't even have ball boys for that. So.
Well, I'll tell you what, it makes a difference. I haven't had ball boys many times either, Tom, but when you have ball boys, it's amazing how fast the game is played, because usually you walk around, you go pick up a ball between a point, and you get to relax and catch your breath. But with those ball boys throwing the balls, it's one point after another, so you really have to be in shape.
Peter Doohan serving. He's up 2-0 in the first set.
Now there was a return. Remember I told you that they were chipping the returns. On that shot, Doohan came over and just really, Surratt came over it and really pounded it. And I think it kind of startled Pete, and he hit it long.
As you note right there, Peter Doohan wearing a hat. I've always wondered, does that bother a guy on a serve?
It depends on your toss. Sometimes it does. Some people don't like to wear hats. Usually at this level, they've worn hats so much because they play so much in the hot sun, bright sun, that it doesn't bother them. Some players are known for their hats. There are a couple of people on the tournament that always wear a hat.
But you don't see a lot of them wearing hats.
No, that's true. You get a high overhead or something, it may block your vision.
A little cooler, though.
Oh, yeah.
That's a little wide, that service. We're at 15 all now. $30-15.
Pete's had a little easier time on his serve. Not a lot of long points, get a lot of quick points on his serve, and he'll be happy if he can continue doing that all day.
That's her first service a little deep. Doing a big man, big tall man helps when you charge the net. You have to really put that lob up and over.
Sure does.
We
Great point.
Yeah, we were talking about lobbing, and Pat didn't want to do that. He just tried to, try to go around him instead of over him.
I think before the day is over, Tom, we'll see a couple of topspin lobs, because here's an example right here, the serve and volley, and you see he brings him wide, and you were talking about height. You see how difficult it is to pass Pete, and he just blocked that shot into the open court for an easy point.
Yeah, we talk about big man. We're talking about, not just height, but he has a longer reach.
That's correct.
It's just hard to get it past him.
Oh.
We're looking
Disputed call here.
Yeah, looking at the chair umpire, Chip Musso. Better not mess his name up too much. Second serve.
That was a topspin passing shot, backhand, and it just went to the net. But Surratt will hit that shot. You'll see him hit it many times before the day is over.
Peter Doohan successful in the first 3 games. He has a 3-zip lead in the first set of the Contraband Days Tennis Tournament Men's Finals. We're going to take a break right here. Okay. And welcome back to the Lake Charles Racquet Club. Tom Woodard and Mike McNulty bringing you the men's final of the Contraband Days Tennis Tournament. We're tied at 15 here in the 4th game of the first set between the number 1 seed and the number 2 seed. Peter Doohan, the number 1 seed, right there, and the number 2 seed, Pat Surratt. He is serving at this point, down 3 games to love.
Tom, those 2 previous points were excellent points. I'd mentioned earlier about the topspin backhand of Surratt, and the first point he showed that. Doohan came up and he flicked a little backhand over the net, and he couldn't handle it for his point.
Ooh, excellent shot by Pat Surratt.
Great angles. He had to cover a lot of court to get that shot, and then after he got it, he brought it cross court for a winner.
30-15, Pat Surratt. Just wide. 40-15 now.
Again, a little chop return by Pete, and Surratt came up on it, chopped it back, and Doohan couldn't return it, brought it wide. And this is the easiest service game that Surratt has had. Oof.
That's some power from the number 1 seed.
That's no chip return.
We both seem to agree that maybe this match will start getting cranked up and we'll see more power.
Yeah, they've played each other so many times. They're just feeling each other out right now. I think you're going to see a lot longer points. There haven't been a lot of long volleys or rallies so far, but I think that'll be coming.
Pat Surratt just won the first game. 3-1 now. Peter Doohan is in the lead, and now this is a change. Pat Surratt putting on a hat now. Now he's used, last year the heat really got to Pat Surratt in the finals. Maybe one of the reasons why he lost. So he knows now, I better take it easy, maybe put on a hat, see if I can cool myself down.
That's right. It's hot down on the court. There's no doubt about it. We're sitting up here in the booth, and we're hot up here. But I think there's no doubt that last year, for the viewers who saw the match, that was the reason why Surratt lost. He simply developed cramps and couldn't move. It was as a matter of fact, the match could have gone either way up until that point, and cramped up. So I asked him before the match whether he thought that might play a part in this tournament, and he said, based upon the heat, it could very well. And he says he has another match after this one.
Matter of fact, both players have a match after this in the doubles semis, I believe. They're partners. Number 1 seed in the doubles pairings.
When you're this good, you play a lot of tennis. We were talking earlier, Tom, about the number of matches you play. Both of these players played semifinal matches this morning. They will play doubles matches this afternoon, and if they got in the mixed doubles, which they frequently do, they'll play those as well. So you can play 4 or 5 matches in a day. If those matches go 3 sets each, you're talking about a lot of tennis and an entire day on the court. It could take its toll.
Excellent serve by Peter Doohan on that time. Clarify this. Ace is if you miss it altogether. Okay.
If you put your racket on it, it is not an ace.
Okay, we won't put that notch down on the ace column because Pat did get his racket on that ball that time, but it was a real nice shot.
Same result, but does not qualify as an ace. Great
nice return there by Pat Surratt.
We were talking about the stress on the arm and him having torn a tendon. You could see on that shot how he whipped the ball with his forehand, which caused the ball to drop after it got over the net for the passing shot.
Peter Doohan serving, the #1 seed, looking to take a 4-1 lead in the first set of this men's final. I think Pat Surratt, the feeling out had better end here pretty soon.
Well, Pat wasn't. Tom, that was a shot I talked about, and you could see how he just whipped it with his wrist and brought it down for a passing shot.
Back to live action now.
That's two service returns that Pat's put in the bottom of the net. I know he's not happy with that. Great return. Low right to him, and as a result, the ball ended up in the net.
Oh, a little shade here finally.
I thought we had the Blue Angels here for a while earlier.
I thought the air show was last week. We had a shot of some planes flying over us earlier today.
Another service return in the net. He's
Pat
having
Surratt?
trouble with his
Yeah, I was
serve.
about to say, Pat Surratt is very confused, shaking his head.
That's right. In order to win, you have to get the ball back. You have to get into the point. And if you don't return the serve, that you don't have a chance of winning.
Advantage Doohan. Pat puts it into the net.
Easy service game for Pete Doohan. We'll see what Surratt does. If he comes up and tries to chop the ball, or whether he'll take a step back and try and hit with a little more power.
Pat better take a break and try to figure this out. And while he does, we'll take a break. We'll be back in a minute. And welcome back to the Lake Charles Racquet Club men's finals of the Contraband Days tennis tournament. Peter Doohan is up 4-1 in this first set. And Mike, we were talking during the break about Pat Surratt. He's down 4-1, and it seems everything is bothering him.
That's true, Tom. Pat Surratt didn't even sit down at the change. Usually he'll sit, towel off, drink a little water or something, try and think about what you're going to do the next game. And he didn't do that in this case. He went over, he talked with the pro. Obviously he was having some problems with the ball boys maybe moving or something. Then he walked on the base, around the baseline and just bounced the ball. And you know, when you're losing like that, or when things aren't going your way, little things start to bother you, and it appears that's what's happening here. But we'll see if he can change it around. Whereas on the other hand, we saw Pete Doohan sit down, gather himself, and hit a great point like that.
You notice once again, we talked about the hat. Pat Surratt has taken the hat off. I guess something must not be feeling right. I know he's losing, but there's the little things.
Well, what happens is two things maybe. One is he's serving, and he may not want to have the hat on because he's tossing the ball and it might get in his way. Secondly, the sun's gone behind the clouds a little bit, and that may be the reason why he has the hat off.
He comes back and ties it up 15 all. Point right here.
That's a great volley for a winner.
Great volley by Pat Surratt right there. But he turns around and hits one long.
See, that was just not a long shot. That shot hit the fence almost. just seems to be a little off of his game. We'll see if he concentrates a little bit and gets back in it.
Not able to get to that groove.
Yeah, that's right. Of course, Pete Doohan is having a lot to do with that. Oh, great point. That was a great, great return by Pete Doohan, and then you'll see that Surratt bent down, hit a great shot to come back. I think we'll see that one again, and this is an excellent point.
Right there, cross-court winner.
Cross-court.
Excellent. Look how far he is on the right side.
That's correct.
Man.
Now there's an easy point. One of the few he's had today. And he's coming up, he's rushing the net a little bit quicker now.
But Peter Doohan is still up 45-30. Okay.
That was a let serve. What a shot. That was the best, actually the best points that we had today because it was the longest rally. They played baseline a little bit, a little cat and mouse. And I think we'll see that one again. And what happened was Doohan finally hit a short shot. And then you see where Surratt hit it back and he just flicked that backhand cross court for a winner. That's a very difficult shot to hit.
Peter Doohan taking advantage. 5-1 right now, and he's serving for the first set.
And that was a top spin backhand return that he really hit out on, and again startled him in another long shot.
And Pat Surratt's hat is back on.
And the sun is out.
Back and forth we go. We talked earlier about Peter Doohan and his experience. You know, he's played Wimbledon. He's beaten Boris Becker. And I look at him and the way he's dressed, and he looks like an Adidas billboard. I mean, he's got everything on. I guess playing well in big tournaments pays off.
Well, at this level, he is probably sponsored by Adidas, and certainly even at a level below this, when you get to be a pro or something along those lines at a club, you'll get free equipment from certain manufacturers, whether it be tennis rackets or clothing. When you've gotten past that point, not only do you get that, but you'll get tournament money, sponsorship, that type of thing. And where Pete Doohan is, I don't know, but obviously he's getting the clothing from Adidas.
Peter Doohan, the top seed, looking to wrap things up.
Service ace.
I was watching him, Peter Doohan, in the semifinals, taking on the local favorite, Pontus Leifrock, and he didn't serve a lot of aces. So that was something I haven't seen from him in his forte of strokes.
Well, that ace wasn't so much power as placement. He brought it wide. That's it.
Just that quick. We're at 6-1, and Peter Doohan, the top seed, has taken the first set. 6-1. Pat Surratt struggling right now. Maybe he can regroup. So will we. We'll be back in a minute. Welcome back to the men's finals of the Contraband Days Tennis Tournament. Tom Woodard and Mike McNulty. Pat Surratt and Peter Doohan. Pat Surratt is hoping to come back after losing the first set 6-1. He is serving. The hat is off, but the brace is still on his arm.
One of the ball girls right now, Tom, is wiping off a little moisture from the court. And we're ready to go.
Could that be sweat, or sweat of the court, or sweat of the players?
Maybe. I'm not sure how it got there. It may have been a drink that someone spilled when switching sides. That's a first. What happened is Pete came up on Pat's serve and tried to take the net from him. So obviously, him trying to do that, Pat's serve is not coming in that hard for him to be able to at least try that.
Pat Surratt up quickly, 30 love.
Pat needs to win this first game of the second set so he can get back, get his confidence, and try and take this second set.
First set, very important, especially
right.
when you're only playing 3 sets.
That's right. And especially if you let Pete get up like that, get his confidence going, it can go real fast.
Taking a quick 40 love lead.
Second serve.
And that's long, quickly. First game.
Easy service game. That'll help Pat. He'll feel good switching sides now. You'll probably see him sit down.
Okay, Peter Doohan serving now, hoping to even the second set up at 1. He has to feel pretty good winning that first set.
Sure does. They're on serve second set. He has 1 under his belt. And I note that he does have both feet on the line when he serves. But they're such good friends that I doubt very seriously that Pat will call that. That was the top spin we talked about, Tom, and it wasn't nearly high enough.
Hard to get it over the big man. Our viewers might want to keep an eye on Peter Doohan as he serves and watching his feet.
You notice that his feet are, 6 inches, 5 inches back from the line when he starts. But then what you want to do when you serve is you actually want to have your feet in the court, but in the air as you serve. It gets you to the court faster. You actually spring into the court. But you can't touch the line when your racket is, or you can't touch any part of the court inside the line when your racket makes contact.
But he looks when he serves like he's all over the line.
Right. Well, it's not a bad foot fault. He's just touching the line. A bad foot fault is when you're a foot or 2 into the court before you hit it. Good serve. Good wide serve. Brought him wide as a result. Pat Surratt hit it in the net.
40 love, Peter Doohan. Looking to even things up in the second set.
Must have been a let. Must have touched the net.
It's out of here. That ball's out of the court.
Home run.
Yep. He'll trot around the bases. Oh, but he's not real happy about that shot. So now it is 40 love. Peter Doohan. There's a lob.
Foot long.
And that almost got us. That lob was so high.
Hit one short, hit one long. He's going to have to find somewhere in between in order to lob past Doohan.
We're at 1-1 now in the second set. We take a look at the there's the slow-mo right there.
Right.
And we take a look at his feet.
Now you see his feet are in the air. That's fine. That's fine. And that's the way a good player wants to be. He wants to have his feet in the court going towards the net when he makes contact. But if his feet are touching the line when he makes contact, that's a foot fault.
Pat Surratt serving now. Excellent shot. Excellent overhead by Pat Surratt. Up 15 love.
Took his hat off. Sun is behind the clouds. Serving again.
No footfall problems with Pat Surratt. Right here, nice shot.
You see how he sets up, and now he should bring his racket back on that overhead. The secret, they say, any teaching pro will tell you, when you're going to hit your overhead, you get in position to where you're going to hit it way ahead of time. Get that racket back, and then all you do is simply bring the strings over the ball and put it where you want it. But it's all planning, positioning. Tom, on that shot, Dewan was coming up again. He's tried that twice now and hadn't been successful in either case. But he's taken Surratt's serve and trying to come up to take the net.
Looks like he's doing it mainly on the second serve.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's the ball that's going to hit and spin and kind of stay up, so he can do that. He's 0 for 3 now.
Shaking his head. Confused.
Again, came up, but brought the ball wide.
540 now. Excuse me, 45 for Pat Surratt.
It's a great shot. It was a chip return to Surratt's forehand side. He hit it down the line, and then Dewan just hit a topspin, rolled that backhand down the line for a passing shot. There's the ace. I think the first ace by Surratt, right on the line.
Pat Surratt wins that game 2-1. He now leads the second set. We'll be back in a few minutes. Nice crowd on hand. We even got them on each side of the court for the first time.
Good weather, good crowd, and good tennis. They're starting to pick up their game. Good return by Surratt.
Peter Dewan can only hit it once, so you won't get that point.
Actually, Tom, this is the first time Surratt has been up because they've held serve so far, and he's won this first point on Dewan's serve. This is the first time he has been up in a set.
A little confidence factor.
Yeah. See if you can put a few together. Long serve, double fault.
Oof.
That's an easy point. Now he's up
30 love now, yeah. Pat's right up 30
a little
love.
pressure here. Let's see if he can break early, and if he does, then he'll really have a little momentum going.
He needs it after losing that first set.
Missed by a couple of inches. And another double
fault. 2 straight now for Peter Dewan.
That makes it easy.
Love 40 now. Hits that one into the net, but he still has a couple points to take this 4th game.
Tom, if you look at the rackets, you'll see that tennis rackets have changed so much in the last few years. The technology has gotten so good. You'll see that Surratt has an oversized racket. It's the new type of racket that's come out. It's much thicker than the old rackets. It generates a lot more power. And looking at the racket, I note that it even has some lead tape. If you look on both sides of the racket where the strings are, you see little silver little silver area of the racket, and that's where he's added some weight to the racket to even give it a little more strength and balance. And then on the other side, Dewan has a graphite racket, but it's not the more modern model. It's not the oversized racket that Surratt has.
A little thinner, as you said. Yeah,
right.
Looks a lot thinner. Tips his hat to the cameras. Now gets ready to serve.
There's a passing shot.
Excellent.
That puts him up in the second set.
Yeah, 3-1 for Pat Surratt. Good time to break.
Well, Surratt told me that the last 2 times they played, they went into the third set. One was decided, the last time they played was decided by a tiebreaker.
Could be the same thing if we stay on serve.
Yeah.
Or excuse me, not if we stay on serve now.
Yeah,
but,
we break.
Yeah, after Pat Surratt broke. Little deep. Just a little wide.
Now, Tom, if you look at Surratt's serve, you'll see where he puts his foot. His foot is right behind the line, unlike a foot or so behind the line. And that's a great shot.
Excellent shot by Pat Surratt that time. So no problem with the footfalls there.
Nope.
He's got it down pretty well.
He sets his foot right there on the line, and he does not go forward until his racket makes contact with the ball. And when that happens, he's actually in the air. He's not touching any part of the court, but his body, I think you'll find, will be in the court when he actually makes contact with the ball. But his feet are not touching the court.
Great point right there. We're tied at 15 all now.
Great point.
Excellent, excellent. The change of shot, I guess when the ball hits that net cord, it changes everything.
It really does. You have to have, it doesn't seem that it would throw you off because it slows the ball down some, and you think you'd have more time, but what happens is you're expecting another shot, and you have to change completely what you were going to do. And it really takes good reflexes to be able to change your shot in midstream and to hit something else.
You're already setting up.
That's
for
right.
that next shot, and
you have your footwork. You're putting your feet in where you want. You're getting your racket ready to meet it, and then all of a sudden you have to change everything.
Pat Surratt in the near court, serving with a 40-love lead in this 5th game. He is up 3-1. And that is a game.
That's game, and again, on that point, Dewan tried to come up on the serve, hit it in the net, so he's 0 for 4 on that.
4-1. Pat Surratt leads in the 2nd set. We'll be back in a few minutes. And we are back. Men's finals of the Contraband Days tennis tournament. Peter Dewan, the top seed in your near court, serving to Pat Surratt.
That is a great shot. They played from the baseline, hit some great shots. You saw the top spin by Surratt. You saw the flatter shots by Dewan. Dewan finally decides to come up to the net, and Surratt just blasts a backhand past Dewan.
That one was a little deep. Where do you think the game has changed? I mean, Dewan takes the first set 6-1, and now Pat Surratt is up 4-1. Where do you think the game has changed?
Well, I think Surratt's raised his game a little bit. I think he's become a little more aggressive. If you recall, at the beginning of the match, there were a lot of little chops and dinky shots and everything. You're not seeing as much of that. As a matter of fact, you're seeing very little of that now, and you're seeing him hitting out. You're seeing passing shots and hitting with a little more authority. And I think that's been the difference. I also think double faults is a great shot. See, again, at first set, first few games, Surratt would have dinked that. It would have been a little chop. He hit out. That was with the backhand right down the line for a winner. But the big change has been those double faults because he's a service breakdown. And he lost that service because of the double faults.
Doing pausing a little bit.
Long shot. Again, Surratt didn't dink the return. He hit away with the forehand down the line, a lot of top spin, resulting in a long return by Dewan. And just that little difference has gotten him back in.
The power game.
That's right.
As we discussed earlier, yeah. A let there. Peter Dewan serving down 5-40. Down 15-40 in this fifth game of the second set. Dewan definitely needs to win this game.
Yeah, if Surratt goes up 2 breaks, this set is essentially over, and we're looking at a third set. Again, you saw Surratt hit with authority, hit out, hit that forehand down the line, top spin, ball bounces high, Dewan puts it in the net. So he's just hitting out a little more, a little more power.
Pat Surratt now is up 5-1 in the second set, looking to even things up. I was a little worried after the first set went so quickly, 6-1. I was worried we'd be out of here pretty quick, but when the number 1 and number 2 seeds play, I guess you expect a close match, and now one is finally developing.
And as we said earlier, the last 2 times they played, it was 3 setters and close at the very end. So we may very well have the same thing today.
5-1, Pat Surratt serving for the set.
First serve.
Second serve. Ace.
That's an ace.
That's
no part of his racket came close to that ball, Tom.
That,
As a matter of fact, I don't even think he began to swing on that one. Two in a row. The first ace was a forehand, which was wide. And the second ace, he went to his backhand, hit right at the corner there where the 2 lines meet for the second ace. And again, hit with a little more power now.
That was a little deep that time.
Right. Tried to do a little too much with it, but that was caused because of Surratt's return. He actually guessed, Dewan actually guessed the right way. He figured out that Surratt was going to go down the line. He was there, but tried to do too much with it. As a result, hit in the net, didn't go over the net.
Surratt serving with the 40-love lead. Looking to wrap it up. The set, that is, up 5-1.
That's it.
And that is the second set. Identical 6-1, 6-1 scores. The first seed, Peter Dewan, took the first set 6-1. Pat Surratt took the second set 6-1. So we will come back with the third and deciding set in just a moment. Don't go anywhere. Tennis tournament. What started out as looked like it was going to be a blowaway. Peter Dewan taking the first set, but Pat Surratt comes back and wins the second.
Tom, I bet we don't see a 6-1 score this third set. I dare say it's going to be a little bit closer. Great first serve right on the line, and Dewan's coming out.
Probably not real pleased that he lost that second set so easily, 6-1.
Well, the match really changed around, Tom. He had things going his way, and then really what happened, those double faults, and he got down a break, and Surratt just jumped on that, got his confidence, broke him again the second set, the second serve, and ran away with that second set. And that's mental toughness. players of this caliber, you know, they're able to put those things behind them, stick in there, and come back. And that's why you see sometimes matches in Wimbledon or the French Open, and you'll see 1-6, 6-1, 1-6, 6-1, 5, whatever it might be. And it seems like it's just lopsided matches. How could that player play that set that way when he came back and won so easily the second set?
But it's not so much as I guess what he's doing, but what his opponent is doing now.
That's right.
Now that Pat Surratt has, you know, kind of got his feet under him, now he knows exactly what he wants to do, and he has a plan of action after this first set.
That's right. He's hit some shots he's been successful with, so now we'll see if Dewan's able to change things a little bit to match those shots.
Excellent shot. Hit the corner.
Again, there was no chip there or anything. He just flat P-laid that ball, and with all the topspin that he had, the ball dropped a few inches inside the baseline. Actually, the wind was blowing from his back, which would, in most cases, have caused the ball to go long. Because he had such topspin on it, it just fell right there in the court. And we have a second serve.
30-15.
Incredible shot. Those are 3 backhands in a row. The service return that he hit for a winner, then this service, he hit the backhand topspin right back to Dewan. Dewan hits it back, and then he passes him with the backhand. Now that, for the viewers that don't play tennis, that is an incredible shot.
And for people like me who play just a little bit of tennis, that's a great shot. Let hit the net that time. We talked about the brace on Pat Surratt's arm. Every time he puts that spin, it takes a little bit more off that tendon in his arm.
Well, if he has a torn tendon in his arm and he's hitting points like that, he either has a high pain threshold or he's really gotten used to playing with it.
Look at the brace on his arm. Doesn't seem to be bothering him much.
Tom, that's about 4 or 5 incredible backhands he's hit. He's, remember we were talking about his game being a little off, out of sync. Remember he hit a couple of backhands where it almost hit the fence. Well, I think he's in sync now.
Watch it come all the way over, right down the line.
And again, for those viewers who don't play tennis, that's an incredible shot.
He's been hitting those cross courts. I guess Dewan probably expect him to cross court it again. He put it right down the line.
That's correct. Low wide. Again, it was topspin. Played the angle, but missed it by about 4 or 5 inches.
And we're at deuce now.
That was a big point, though. That was a terribly big point, because if he had made that shot, he'd have broken Dewan first serve, third set, and he'd have been sailing. But now we're at deuce, and we'll see what Dewan does. Ace.
That's a way to put it on your side. Advantage, Peter Dewan. There is the top seed, serving. And the first game goes to Peter Dewan here in the third set. Players are taking the break. The ball boys and ball girls are picking things up. And we'll take a break.
Nobody.
And welcome back to the men's finals of the Contraband Days Tennis Tournament. The number 1 and number 2 seeds playing, Peter Dewan and Pat Surratt. Right now, Peter Dewan, who is in the near court, is leading 1-0 in the third and deciding set.
You'll see, Tom, that Peter really hadn't changed anything from the first set. It's just that Pat has. That service return, again, was a little chip. instead of like the first serve when it went in, this time it went out by about 2 or 3 inches. So it's a little, just 2 or 3 inches off has been the difference. And that's a double fault.
Rarity for Pat Surratt. Now, Peter Doohan did it earlier, like 2 or 3 times. But
in the same service game, it's not okay anytime, but it's certainly not okay when you do it 3 times in one service game. And he comes back with an ace.
When you double fault, that's the way to come back with an ace.
Both from the baseline. Let's see who's going to come up. I bet Doohan comes up first. Okay.
Yes, sir, folks. Put your money on Mike McNulty if he ever goes to Vegas. He called that one right.
Well, Surratt was keeping the ball deep, and Doohan feels a little more comfortable at the net. And the first short ball that Doohan got, he attacked, came up, and took that volley and hit a clear winner for to take that point.
15-30 now.
With an ace.
He wins both his points with aces. And we're all even at, correct me, that's 40-30 now. And that's long. And that's the game. We're all even now at 1 game apiece. Now while we have a chance, we want to talk about all the help that we're getting out here today with the ball boys and ball girls.
Well, we're fortunate, Tom and Lake Charles, we have a good juniors program. The kids that you see around the court that are sitting in the stands right there and the kids on the court, you see one of the girls right there cleaning up the court. They're all tennis players here at the club, and it's really up and coming. They play all the tournaments and volunteered their services for the tournament here. And we're pleased with the young program.
Want to thank them and all the help they're giving us today. Doing a great job out here today. Getting a little windy out here.
Great lob. Surratt played the wind, had a top spin, and the wind brought it in just a couple of inches inside the baseline for a clear winner. And what that does is that'll cause Doohan not to be as aggressive at the net, not to come up, but maybe stay a step back so he can get that overhead. So he won't be as aggressive at the net, and that'll then open up some passing shots.
Love 15.
Again, service return with power, no chip as he was doing at the beginning, but hitting out that service return and being effective with it.
15-30 now. So we noticed Peter Doohan still hugging that line on that serve.
Yeah. Well, he better with the way that Surratt is hitting those returns now. Again, Surratt just hit a good hard return. Let's look at this. I don't know if we have the angle there, but there we go. Yeah. You see he is touching the line, and as his racket, that is not a foot fault. Because when his racket came into contact with the ball, he was in the air, and that is a great serve because he is moving forward. But that was a big point. Surratt just beat Doohan, just broke him.
Whether foot fault or not, Pat Surratt has taken this third game. He now leads 2-1 in the third set. Pat Surratt up 2-1 in the third set. We're going to take a break. We'll be back in a minute. And here we are back at the men's finals. Contraband Days tennis tournament. Pat Surratt serving with a 2-1 lead. tried the cross court, but a little deep for that one, hitting the net.
It was that topspin that brought it down into the net, but he's hit that a couple of times before. He's also hitting with the wind, so that's going to add a little bit to his serve. It's great touch tennis. It just shows you how athletic those people are to be able to stretch like that and to hit the ball at those angles. That's the first time, though, that Dewan has been able to do that. There we can see he goes over.
He misses it the first time, yeah, and tries to come around, but
that's correct.
Not enough.
Now, that's the first time Dewan has come up on the serve, though, and won it. You recall the last 4 times he tried that, he lost, so he was successful that time, but he had to hit 2 great shots to do it.
A little frustration is starting to come out of the top seed, Peter Dewan, in the far court. You might have heard him.
He tried it again, tried to come up on the serve. He's now 1 for 5.
Not a good average in any sport when you're 1 for 5.
But when you're successful in doing it, you put so much pressure on that server. He knows he has to hit the ball a little bit deeper. He might get a double fault out of it. And this service game, Pat hadn't been doing a good job of getting his first serve in. Let's see if he comes up on that second serve. Here he comes. Wide. 1 for 7?
Yep. 30 all now. Dewan was up 30 love, and then he charged the net twice. You can see the disgust. In his semifinal match is about at this point where he started to get frustrated. He started banging the racket against the side of the fence, started hitting himself, throwing the towel. At one point, he threw off his cap and almost knocked it over the fence. He was so frustrated, but he came back and won. So maybe that helps him a little bit.
Well, a lot of players can do it. They can shake it off. Or other people, once they get mad, they're not able to do it, and it hurts their game.
Speaking of games, Pat Surratt is on right now. He's up 2-1 in the 3rd set, and he's leading this game 40-30. Excuse me, 3-1. That's the game right there. Okay, Pat Surratt is up now. 3 games to 1. Pat Surratt in control right there.
If I were Peter Dewan, I don't think I would come up on that serve. He's 1 for 8 now.
That is definitely hurting him, and he needs to change his game. He's down 3-1.
Good first serve.
Down by 2 games, it seems his tendency would be to sit back.
Well, actually, it's not that bad, Tom, because he's now up 30 love on a serve. Although he's down by 2 games, it's only 1 service game. And that's what you go by in these matches. You should hold your serve. And the secret is to break the other person's serve on a surface like this. On a slow court like clay or something, you have a lot of service breaks. But usually a match like this, 1 service break is all it takes to win, although the first 2 sets there were 2 service breaks in both. So if you're 1 service break down, all he needs to do is just break Surratt 1 time, and you're on line again, you're on serve, and you're even.
Doing serving for this game, he's up 40 love. Pat Surratt tried to unload on that one, a little wide.
I don't think I could hit a ball that hard.
Okay, we're at 3-2 now. Pat Surratt, the number 2 seed, is your leader. Don't go anywhere. We have a good one. Here we are, third set of the men's finals. Pat Surratt serving with a 3-2 lead.
Little wide, missed it by about 2 inches. Tried to do a little too much with it. You know, Tom, in looking back at the scores, Surratt was very close to being 2 sets up. If you recall the first service game this set of Dewan, Surratt had him out, but Dewan ended up cutting back. And that's a great shot by Dewan. Passing shot down the line, top spin. And all Surratt could do was watch.
As we said, 3-2's not bad.
Not bad. That's just a service break.
He needs to break. He needs to break here. Dewan needs to break here.
They're 1-all. What a shot.
Excellent shot.
Right down the line. And all he needs is 2 more points. He wins these 2 points, and it's an even match.
Looking at Peter Dewan right there. And Pat Surratt serving. Close one that time. Second serve. I think Pat Surratt wanted to do a little bit more on that top spin.
That's right. Well, that's a time we said, you know, we didn't know the wisdom of it, but it worked that time. He came up on that second serve and approached, came to the net, and Surratt tried to pass him, and he blocked it for a winning point, cross court.
30-all now.
Come on! 1 point away from a break.
Peter Dewan. That's about the closest you can get going over a net. I mean, it just skimmed over. I thought it was in the net for sure from my angle up above.
Well, that's that little dink shot, the little chop we talked about. You know, how you just dink it over, and what that does, it gets you another point. Gives you another chance to hit the ball. And you can hear Dewan talking to himself right now. He's really trying to psych himself up now to take this service game. He's been in trouble the last 2.
Now we're all even, 3-3. I think, ladies and gentlemen, the tennis has just moved up a notch.
That's incredible court coverage. You'll see how much court these players covered. You see him go down the line. Now look where Surratt is. And he gets the ball, but brings it a little wide. We're seeing some great tennis now.
Peter Dewan is pumped.
That was just quickness on Surratt's part.
We're at 15-all now. We're all even here in the third set. 3-3, 15-15.
Tom, I noticed something. It may be nothing, but when Surratt went over to the fence after hitting that point, I saw him stoop down, like he was trying to loosen up it looked like his left leg. He may be getting a little tight in that leg, maybe cramps or something. And I don't see him limping or anything.
Now we have a questionable call. Pat Surratt called it out. Peter Dewan going to the bench, going to the chair rather, and talk to Chip Musso.
Now you see him stretching. Look at Surratt. He's over by the baseline. He's stretching, and there may be something there.
Take a look. We have a slow motion replay. Watch where the ball goes. Once again, Pat Surratt called it out. It looks like that is going to stand.
And the official, Chip Musso, concurred. So it's going to go down as an out shot, despite what Pete Dewan thinks.
$15.30 now.
Great shot. I've been saying it before, Tom, but it's true. Surratt has completely abandoned the little dink returns or chop returns, and it's just hitting out, and it's really made a difference.
Nothing but power tennis, it looks right now. The dinks are gone. 15-40. Big serve right here for Peter Doohan.
He'd sure dig a hole if he loses this service, but he's been in trouble in every one of his services this set. Oh, look closely at Surratt's left leg now. You see how he's bouncing around? I think that he may be tightening up in that leg. Shades of last year.
Had cramps last year. Ooh, nice service right on the line. 30-40 now. Take a look at Pat Surratt.
Actually, it's his right leg. He's stretching his right leg. Big serve. Come on! Big serve. That makes a deuce, and Surratt had his chance. That's twice now he's had an ad out on the serve, and converted one, didn't convert the other.
Take a look at Pat Surratt. He's not stretching or favoring that leg right now, but he's been stretching it periodically during this third set. That first service was long.
He went for all the marbles on that one, Tom. He's hit it before and tried to do it again, and it wasn't even close. It's a timing shot, especially with all the top spin, the angle of the racket when it hits the ball, but he went for it again and went wide. Big service right here.
Peter Doohan has the advantage.
He used to win this point to hold serve.
And he does. Peter Doohan is now up 4-3. We're on service here in the third set. We'll be back in a minute. And the beautiful Bayou shot from the Lake Charles Racket Club, Lake Charles, Louisiana. Thanks for joining us today for the men's final of the Contraband Days tennis tournament. Pat Surratt and Peter Doohan, the #1 and #2 seeds, battling here in the third and deciding set. Pat Surratt is serving, hoping to get back in this third set. He is down 4-3.
Now, Pete Doohan may have played an out ball there. It looked a little long. He was coming in on that second serve, and he was so intent on watching the ball and hitting the return that he didn't see where it hit, and it might have been a little bit long. But again, he was coming up on that second serve, had a little more success with it lately, but still, he's below the odds.
15 all.
There he comes up again, and the odds have gone down again. I hope he's not a gambler.
Boy. 30-15 now for Pat Surratt. Pat Surratt not in pain, doesn't seem to be struggling.
Doing fine. Pat really hasn't been in much trouble the second or the third set with his serve. He's won them pretty handily.
Oh. A gift.
Living right. Living right. It's always good to be lucky too, Tom.
Mm-hmm. Some people say it's better to be lucky than good. I'm neither, so. Pat Surratt up 40-15.
Now Pete Doohan was talking to the umpire, Chip Musso. I don't know what that was about, but you see something's bothering him. I don't know what it is. But these are the important points right now. Every point is important, and little things bother you. Watch him come up. Great point. But look at him limp, Tom. See him coming back. He has a little limp. He had to stretch, and he's beginning to feel there's something there. Now, whether it's affecting him, it didn't appear to on that point.
Well, watch him cover this court.
And then when he comes back on the screen, watch him when he, okay. Well, he limped when he came back on the screen.
He's got a little bit of a limp. We're not exactly sure the reason why. We're guessing, trying to say that it might be cramps. But right now, we are on serve 4-4 in the third set. This is tennis the way it ought to be.
Well, we were saying before the match, Tom, how they've played so closely the last few times they've played, and it's happening again.
A little wide, 15, love. Once again, a fine tournament put on by the Lake Charles Racquet Club. Nice crowds, nice competition all the way around. Another fine tournament, another successful year.
Great shot. Tom, as far as the caliber of player in the open division where the prize money is, and earlier you gave the figures, this is probably the best draw we've had. That Pat Surratt right now is rated the #1 tennis teaching pro in America. That would be all the pros at the different clubs throughout the country. That's a pretty good fact to put on your resume.
Real good on
And we've talked about Pete Doohan already with wins over Becker. He plays all the the major tournaments, the French, Wimbledon. So we're watching some caliber tennis.
Pat Surratt teaching up in Alexandria at the Courtyard Club.
These two players were the NCAA doubles champions for 2 consecutive years. And they're in the finals of the tournament after this match. You wonder why?
Watching these two guys play, you know, you watch them play on opposite ends of the court, and just imagine them playing on the same side.
I wouldn't want to do it.
No.
I wouldn't want to play against them.
Get him that foot!
Pat Surratt a little upset with himself.
Well, Pat thought that point was out, and he played it anyway, and hit a high topspin to Pete Doohan's forehand. They put it away. There you go.
Watch it. Yeah,
it's
look,
right there.
Yeah, it's right there on the. Look. Ooh, that's a close call.
I think it might have been right on the line.
I think he made the right choice because it was on the line.
Yeah.
I think that was the right choice. He just didn't hit it. He might have hesitated. That
That's
took
right.
a little bit off.
That's right. Should I play it? Should I not play it? And as a result, hit that type of shot.
Exactly.
The other thing was that point before on the service return. That's one of the few times recently that I've seen Surratt chop the ball on a return. You notice he didn't hit out on that one, but chopped it. He did hit out on that one, but he hit it out.
Give him point. Give it to him.
30 all now.
Those were 2 big points. You heard Pat Surratt talking to himself, just give it to him. these are the crucial points now. Every point is going to determine the outcome of this match with an ace.
And Peter Doohan takes that game. We're still on serve. 5-4 now. Peter Doohan is leading. Boy, you don't even want to lead, but we have to. Let's do a little business, but don't go anywhere. And welcome back. A tight match here in the men's finals. Contraband Days tennis tournament. Serving is Pat Surratt, down 4-5 here in the third and deciding set. A little overcast. Not real hot, not real humid. I know the players like it. I appreciate it.
Tom, I think that Pete Doohan's going to dream about that service return tonight. He came up on the second serve again and hit it long and wide.
He's not doing too well when he charges.
Yep. Great shot. It seemed like Pete Doohan was a little tentative. He couldn't make up his mind whether he wanted to come up or whether he wanted to stay back.
No man's land.
No man's land. Ended up in no man's land right in the middle. And when Surratt hit the ball, he hit it down the line for a passing shot.
Pat Surratt needs this.
Oh, he has a hold. That's right. Comes up.
He's doing it again. Yeah, but if you and I go down there and say, hey, Peter, don't do it.
Well, I'll tell you, Tom, I'd like to be able to hit it in the net like him. I'd be satisfied with that.
Well, that's a quick game, love game.